Why can't you accept yourself? You are not who you think you are. Have you ever felt that no matter how much you train, you always find something wrong with your body? Me too. No matter how many treatments you tried, there was always another one coming and you hoped, okay, this time I will finally feel satisfied. You told yourself, if I get this done, if I reach this, if I lose this, if I build this, then I will finally be able to accept myself. But the feeling somehow never arrived, or it only lasted for a moment. Maybe you trained, you dieted, you started a new meal plan, or you jumped into yet another miracle program. Maybe you tried cosmetic or plastic procedures, body treatments, fillers, lasers, hoping that now you will finally feel better in your skin. But after every single attempt, there was still that tiny emptiness left, as if no matter how much you do, it's never enough. This is something millions of people experience today, from very young kids to older people, women and men, every single day. In this video, we are going to talk about why so many people struggle with the lack of self-acceptance. What does self-acceptance even mean? Where is that line where healthy ambition to grow stops inspiring you and starts hurting you instead? When does motivation slip into self-criticism and from there slowly into self-rejection? We will look at what reality perception actually is, how we see ourselves, and how this gets distorted by the feedback of our environment or by our own or society or by social media. Where is the truth? What could be the golden ratio here? We will touch on psychological root behind body image issues. We will talk about how self-development can turn into a compulsion and when you can start using that inner drive again as a healthy motivation. And finally, as always, using and understanding all this, we are going to try to get as close as possible to balance. But before we start, I want you to imagine this video as an honest conversation with a friend on a rainy afternoon. I will take care of the calm vibe. Getting better? Much better. I think you should grab one too. No rush, just two people paying attention with calm and honesty. I'm asking this because I want you to be able to open up emotionally during the video and to reflect back on what's actually going on in you right now. Pause the video sometimes, ask yourself questions and look for answers, because that's the only way this video will do what it's supposed to do. Are you ready? This is going to be a slightly more layered episode, because to truly understand it, we need to clarify some basic concepts on the way. We will talk about self-image and how it gets distorted. But what is self-image really? Self-image is not what you see in the mirror. It's what you believe about what you see. It's not just about your looks. It's the inner map your brain has drawn about you over the years. What you look like, what you're capable of, how much you're worth, where you belong, and what others think about you. In psychology, we call this an internal self model, a construct that's constantly being updated based on your experiences, the feedback you get, and your successes. Self-image is not a photo of reality, it's a mental interpretation. Our brain, mainly the prefrontal cortex and the mirror neuron system, works like a constantly updating projector. It doesn't project what actually is there, but what it learned to believe about you. That's why it can happen that two people look at the very same photo of you. One of them sees you as beautiful, the other says, she's average. The picture didn't change, the perspective did. And you work exactly the same way with yourself. It's your inner viewer that decides what you see in the mirror. If this viewer looks through a distorted filter, the whole reality shifts. That's why we say self-image is learned reality. And because it's learned, it can distort too. Psychologically, this is interesting because self-image is not just an opinion about yourself, it's part of your personal identity. If someone hears for years that they are clumsy or they are too pretty to be taken seriously, the brain builds that pattern in and keeps projecting the same image back again and again. Like a program that keeps running even when the data is already outdated. And here comes the key question. Whose perspective are you using to define yourself? Your inner one, society's, your partners, social medias, and in what ratio? Because the minute you choose an external metric, your self-image is no longer about you, it's about who you're trying to please. So self-image is not reality, it's your belief about reality, which means this belief can build you or it can destroy you. What is reality? In psychology, reality perception doesn't mean I see what actually is. It means I see what my brain is able to interpret. What you see, what you feel, the feedback you get, all of it runs through filters. Nervous system, hormones, emotions, cognition. So reality is never fully objective, it's always customized. That's why what you experience as the truth might be just an opinion to someone else. That old saying, there are two sides to every story. In reality, it's not two, it can be 100. And part of this is that time also changes how you see yourself. How you saw yourself years ago won't match how you see yourself now. I'm sure this happened to you too. At some point you didn't like your shape, you thought you didn't look good. Then years later you look back at that photo and said, wow, I would love to have that body again. That shows that self-image doesn't just distort in the present, it distorts over time too. And the clarity often only arrives afterwards. But that's not a problem. That's a sign you're evolving, that your perspective is maturing, your awareness is expanding, and you can feel empathy even towards your past self. Every perspective is its own perceptual map, and the amount of angles you can see something from shows the level of your emotional intelligence and your awareness. And if you've been following my videos, you know I say this in almost every episode. Let's avoid black and white thinking. This is exactly why. Because reality doesn't exist at the extremes. It lives in the layers, in the subtle shades in between. The more angles you can look at something from, even at yourself, the closer you get to what's actually real. Someone who only sees from one narrow angle, we tend to call them dumb, but in reality they are not dumb or bad, they are just using a limited processing pattern. Your brain organizes the world according to your story, and from that it builds what you believe reality is. That's why your own argument or point of view seems so obvious to you in an argument, while for the other person it's neither logical nor satisfying. Not because one of you is right and the other is wrong, but because two different realities are meeting. In moments like this, nobody has absolute truth. Both have their truth, just on different levels. In psychological reality, truth is relative to the experience. Everyone's reality is what they live through, perceive, and interpret. That's why the one who is calmer, more reflective, and able to look at their own perspective from the outside can get closer to the objective truth. So truth belongs to the one who doesn't just want to win the argument, but actually wants to understand the other person's logic. Because real intelligence is not in who is right, it's in who can expand their own perspective. Now we know what self-image is, we know what reality perception is, and we can see their spectrum, so let's move on to the next level where the problem actually starts. To do that, we need to zoom out a bit. The distortion of self-image. In the 21st century, the outside world is projecting thousands of realities onto you. Social media, ads, your relationship, social expectations, this adaptive mechanism can very quickly become a trap. This is where the balance starts to wobble. If you let in too many external perspectives, your reality perception is no longer about you. It's about who you're trying to satisfy. But if you shout the outside world out completely, you lose perspective and self-reflection disappears. So distortion is not always a negative thing. Psychologically, it's often a defense mechanism against excessive self-criticism. Your brain tries to protect your mental balance. It softens your flaws so you don't break under the weight of your expectations. But if this balance gets chronically disrupted, two extremes appear. Undervaluing. I will never be good enough. This is the more common. Overvaluing. I'm already done. Both come from the same root, lack of self-reflection. One distorts inward, the other outward. So let's ask the key question of the whole video. From when is this no longer healthy? What is that point where wanting to improve yourself no longer inspires you? It starts to destroy you. The answer is almost always in what or who you're measuring yourself against. Because if your metric is not your inner value system, but the outside world's expectations, then self-development is no longer growth, it becomes self-punishment. And from here the door opens to the next level, to the point where social and external feedback fully take over, and the distortion of self-image is no longer protection, it's a reality swap. What does this look like in everyday life? You open Instagram in the morning, you see someone already trained, someone is having breakfast at the beach, someone bought a new car, someone's already in their third country this year, and of course, with FaceApp and extra Photoshop bodies, it all gets one more layer. You know, when the thighs start bending around the girl's glutes, right? Or when everyone uses the same Kardashian filter and you see the exact same face on every profile. Meanwhile, you're there on your couch with a mug in your hand, tired, a bit worn out, and suddenly you feel, wow, I'm behind. What am I doing wrong? Why don't I look like that? Why am I not traveling that much? But the problem is not with the rhythm of your life. You are just not looking at reality. Social media is not a window to the world. It's a mirror maze, a narrowed funnel through which only the most beautiful, most filtered moments get through. There everybody's gorgeous, successful, rich, balanced, but that's just one cherry-picked moment of life. Psychology calls this selective reality, when the brain amplifies the positive stimuli and suppresses the negative ones to create an illusion. I once saw a picture that illustrates this really well. It was an apartment building where behind every window a different story was happening. In one apartment, someone lost their pet. In another, someone got promoted. Someone just broke up. Someone was studying for an exam, stressed. Someone was happy because they finally fell in love. And someone was in the middle of a panic attack. Same building, same reality, 1,000 different life situations. Now imagine that from this building, social media shows just one window, the one where everything is perfect. Sun is shining, it's tidy, smiles, filter, happiness. But if you build your self-image from that, then you are not comparing yourself to reality. You are comparing yourself to an illusion, and that's dangerous. This is the point where a lot of people who radiate perfection on the outside, and I don't want to, but I can easily be put into this group too. If someone only sees me quickly on video or in a photo, I've heard this 1,000 times, I can easily create the impression that this is the standard. This is the perspective we were talking about earlier. Everyone picks out something different, everyone wants to see something different, and then there's what I want to communicate with it. Because in my reality, the difference is huge. I'm not communicating that you are not good enough. I'm communicating how you can be better. And this is that exact borderline where inspiration can work in a healthy, motivating way, or it can flip into pressure, where self-development can flip into self-rejection. Before we go on, let me tell you why I called my app Final Form. Because at first glance, people only see a fitness app, but it's so much more than that. Just like you can see from the videos and the topics we cover, this system is not only about your body, it's about you. Final Form rebuilds the whole picture through the mental guidelines that help you restore your self-image, through the training system that teaches you to get back in sync with your body, and through the nutrition structure that makes your progression sustainable. If this way of thinking resonates with you, download the app from the App Store or Google Play. Start with the free workouts, and if you feel it has a place in your life, move to premium. The inner conflict. This is the point where you want to grow, but you lose direction. Growth is healthy as long as it starts from internal motivation, as long as your drive is curiosity, growth, and self-knowledge. But if the goal is no longer you, but someone else's expectation, then growth slowly becomes self-punishment. Ask yourself, who are you trying to please? Yourself, your environment, your partner, your family. Because the moment your motivation is built on other people, the feeling of growth can turn into pressure, and what used to be a source of joy suddenly becomes an obligation. Training, nutrition, beauty, routines, career, all of these can be expressions of self-love, but they can just as easily become manifestations of self-hate if the internal intention slips. The difference is always in the intention. Are you trying to develop yourself, or are you desperately trying to prove something? The sports world shows this border maybe the clearest. Among athletes, the lack of self-acceptance is often a huge motivational force. That's what drives them, what makes them get up in the morning, what makes them go beyond their limits, sometimes obsessively. There's a positive side to this too, the desire to improve, striving for perfection, discipline. But the border here is ultra thin. When does drive become compulsion, and when does passion become self-destruction? Right now it feels a bit like deep sea diving. We started from the surface where the sun was shining, and we started swimming downwards through layers. We reached that depth where you can't really see the light around you anymore. Body dysmorphia, distorted body image. The distortion of self-image doesn't just appear in your thoughts, it can and often does show up in physical form too. This is when someone can no longer see their body realistically. This is the point where the mirror is no longer reflecting the truth, it's reflecting the inner narrative. So many people struggle with this. Athletes, models, completely everyday people too. Body dysmorphia isn't about the body being wrong, it's about the lack of realistic perception. The brain simply processes the mirror image differently. The focus is always on the lack, not on the whole. And here comes the paradox. The more you try to fix yourself, the less you are able to accept what you see. You're building your body, but in parallel, your perception keeps distorting, and your focus slowly shifts. You stop watching your strength, you only watch what's not good yet. This distortion, by the way, shows up in almost every athlete in some form. A lot of us, me included, tend to be too strict with ourselves. I often catch myself not looking for what's good in the mirror, but for what's still not perfect. I always only check the lower abs because that's the most critical point. The rest around it, I don't even care. And I know I need to work on this too, because this is an endless spiral. There will always be something to fix. I want to say a few words to women here, because I think it's especially dangerous for them. So many women go through all the treatments, all the procedures. They get their breasts done, they feel the butt, the face, the lips, and at some point, the starting point disappears completely. You're nowhere near who you used to be. There's nothing left to measure back to. Personal example. One of my exes wanted to get her breasts done, and I remember so clearly how she said it with so much belief. I will get my breasts done, and I promise I won't change anything else on myself. And I knew exactly that it wouldn't be like that. Not because I was judging her, but because I saw that the problem didn't start with her looks. It started with the fact that by then external stimuli already had too much power over her, no matter how many times I taught her. She was beautiful. By then, she already saw herself completely differently. She was already shaping her self-image because of social media pressure. I understood the reason, the intention, the desire, but I also saw the future because, sadly, this is a spiral the vast majority of women fall into. I don't think I'm surprising anyone saying she fell into it too. I haven't really seen a woman who got one thing done and then actually stopped. There's always one more step, one more correction, one more just this tiny thing, and with every single intervention, she drifts further away from herself. The inner distortion projects onto the body. That's why in the end you see faces you can no longer recognize, and to me, that's really, really sad. I see so many girls who were truly natural and beautiful at the beginning just completely distort themselves. It's painful to watch. This happens because the intervention doesn't correct the body, it further distorts the perception. The brain learns that after the change comes the relief, dopamine is released, and this process becomes a reward pattern. But because the source of the inner dissatisfaction is actually not in the outside, the relief is only temporary. The dopamine goes away and the emptiness returns in a new form. This is the point where it's no longer about the body, it's about the inner mirror. The surface can change as much as you want. If the inner picture stays distorted, then no matter how much you change on it, your reality perception will stay false. So the real change is never in the external forms, it's in learning to see yourself with love again. Acceptance cannot come from the outside, it cannot come from a procedure or from a mirror or from someone else's praise, because self-acceptance is built from the inside. And if the inner picture gets restored, then the mirror will finally show what you actually see, not what you're trying to force yourself to believe. I was made fun of as a kid because of my ears, because they were sticking out. There was a time when I wanted to get them fixed too. Today, I'm not obsessing over it. It's far down the list. I get comments about my voice tone too, that it's higher. I don't take it on because I think I learned to love myself, and that's why I could stay on the natural line. It's not perfect, and it's a ton of work. So what does this look like in practice? Your new self, the idea of clear seeing. I think we just reached the deepest point of today's video. This is where I want you to let this all sink in before we go back up, because I think it has to. We are going to go upwards now, but with real change. If you were hoping for an actual step-by-step manual, I'm going to disappoint you. because there is no such thing as the solution, the truth. I think by now you can see why. But there are guidelines that can bring you closer to understanding and to clear seeing. First, learn to separate fact from interpretation. Most self-attack doesn't come from what happened. It comes from what you think about what happened. I'm not good enough. That's not a fact. That's a sentence you believed about yourself. And every time you say it, it gets built in deeper. Watch what you say about yourself, because every sentence is a new program in your head. Second, stop measuring yourself to others. Every human being evolves at a different pace, with a different story, a different background, a different pain. Real self-knowledge is not in how fast you go, it's in knowing why you are where you are right now. Other people's place doesn't matter, yours does. Third, learn to look at yourself from the outside. Like you were watching a movie, imagine that the person who is struggling right now, who is dying right now, is not you, but someone you love. What would you tell them? Probably not what you tell yourself. This is what psychology calls external perspective, when you step back emotionally and instead of you hurt, you let your compassion and your rationality decide. Fourth, be selective about whose words reach you. Your environment is the echo. If there's constant noise around you, your inner voice is the first to get quiet. Surround yourself with people whose value system is strong enough for their opinion to matter. People who won't judge you, but will hold up a mirror. People who won't tell you who you are, but will help you see yourself. Fifth, be honest with yourself. Brutally, radically honest, but stay gentle at the same time. Clear seeing doesn't mean you mercilessly dissect yourself. It means you are no longer afraid to look at what you've been hiding. Honesty is not self-attack. Honesty is the beginning of healing. And maybe this is the biggest realization for me too. The solution was understanding, that we understood why things are happening, clarifying the concepts about self-image, about reality perception, about the reasons for self-image distortion, all the way to the inner conflict and to body dysmorphia. Next time, when a feeling like this comes up in you, you will be able to answer yourself why it's happening. You won't have to panic. You will know. You don't need everything to be okay in order for you to be okay. Because clear seeing doesn't come from perfection. It comes from finally being willing to see your whole self with your flaws, your fears, and your desires together. This is the new balance. Not the one where everything is perfect, but the one where you're no longer fighting reality. You just accept that too is you. And that's the moment when real change begins. Why did I make this video? I ask myself this, and maybe the answer is a bit selfish, because I want to help the people around me, the people close to me who struggle with this every single day, and through them, all of us. Because this topic affects way more people than we think. Not thousands, millions, maybe billions struggle with the lack of self-acceptance. And if with this video, even a few people find answers, understanding, or even new questions, it already did what it was supposed to do. I hope this video will start conversations between friends, in families, between partners, inside yourself, that it won't just be a topic, it will be a mirror. And through these conversations, we will all get a little bit closer to understanding who we really are. If you felt this video touched you, share it with someone and come back to it anytime you need it. Maybe right now it's just a video, but it can be a reference point too, something you can come back to when you get unsure again. I hope by now this came through clearly. This is not just a fitness channel. I realized very early that training on its own doesn't do anything. The human body, the soul, and the mind are not separate systems. They are layers of the same whole. And if you only build one of them, the other two will tip over sooner or later. That's exactly why I created the Final Form program. Because there, besides training and nutrition, I treat mental balance as equally important. So you don't just get stronger physically, but in your head and in your heart too. If this is the mindset you want to grow in, then I honestly recommend you try it. Download it from the App Store or Google Play, try the free workouts, read the info, watch the intro videos, and if you want to grow with me and make your life better, this is the way. Thank you so much for being here and watching this video till the end. I genuinely want to hear your thoughts. Tell me in the comments where you feel the biggest challenge, What part touched you and what part gave you a new realization? Don't forget to hit the like button and to subscribe, because every Sunday there's a new video with topics that don't just shape your body, they shape your way of thinking too. And if you want to know why 30-day miracle diets and quick fixes are dangerous, watch the next video right here or click on one of the playlists. Thank you for being here. I hope it was good for your body and your soul, because by now you know, training is just the first step. The real change is you.